Hey guys, with the release of Rise of Skywalker, we are now 11 films in. We are going to rank the Skywalker saga, worst to best. Actually, it's kind of good to best because I actually like all of these films. It's just some of them are lower on the list. Also, if you haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, this ranking will contain spoilers. Alright, at number 11 is Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Now keep in mind, I still enjoy these films later, lower on the list. They're just lower, they're lower quality than the other films. I shouldn't say lower quality, but I just really enjoy this film. The clone betrayal is brutal. I love Padme, Obi-Wan, everything about that's good. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace is at number 10. I saw this in theaters at a special screening event in New York, and it was pretty good. I still like Qui-Gon Jinn. Darth Maul is one of my favorite villains. Young Obi-Wan's great. Young Anakin's great. Overall, great start. Next is Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith at number 9. I really enjoy this film because you get Emperor Palpatine killing Mace Windu, you get the ultimate Obi-Wan versus Luke battle at the end, and of course, or not Obi-Wan versus Luke, Obi-Wan versus Anakin moment at the end. You get, Anakin's betrayal, and of course, Padme's death and the ultimate transformation of Anakin to Darth Vader. At number 8 is Rogue One. I really like this movie. It's really hard to watch because you know that they're trying to get the Death Star plans to Princess Leia. This is a prequel film to A New Hope. You know no one survives that mission. You know that the map comes alone. The plans come alone. And it's upsetting because you meet some generally awesome characters. You got K2SO, you got Cassian Andor, Saw Gerrera, Baze Malbus, Chirrut Imwe, Jyn Erso, of course. Don't want to see these people to die, but it's just a great adventure. At number 7 is Solo, A Star Wars Story. I really enjoyed this film from last year. I've always wanted to see the origin story of Han Solo, so this was like a dream come true to me. Other people say it's a little bit too hokey, which I can agree on some aspects with, but I actually really like the guy that's playing Han Solo. I forget what his name is at the time. Donald Glover as Lando is fantastic and charming as ever. Of course, Chewbacca and the origin of how he met Han is great. It's just an overall really great heist film. It has no real groundbreaking stakes to it. It doesn't deal with the Empire falling. It's just a great overall heist film, fun adventure. At number 6 is Return of the Jedi. Man, this is a really, really good sort of cap off to the the in-between trilogy, pretty much is what I call it anyway. It's just so great seeing all these characters come together to defeat the dark side once and for all. Darth Vader's turn to the light and his death was just great. Him not killing Palpatine, but thinking he killed Palpatine was still great. And it's just very impactful in the end, where you have the Ewoks cheering, you got Han Solo, Princess Leia, Chewbacca, everyone on Endor fighting. It's just so satisfying at the end. Yeah. Alright, number 5 is The Rise of Skywalker. Now, this part will contain spoilers, so I hope you're gone. Now, this movie, it served as a triumphant end to the Skywalker saga. I wouldn't say it's perfect. It's very flawed. Definitely in the side character department. The side characters were very useless in this film. But we're not here to talk about the bad of Star Wars. We're here to talk about the good of Star Wars, right? And yeah, man, this is a really good end off to the Skywalker saga. It's sort of like an Avengers Endgame type film. There is action sprinkled throughout, but it's mostly, preempt or, exposition to the big final climactic fight, sort of that Avengers Assemble type moment where they're losing fighters and, Poe's like the only one left and, you think all hope's lost and then comes Lando in the Falcon with a whole bunch of ships and they take down the First Order, which is great. Kylo Ren's transformation is just one of the best pieces of character development in the Star Rey at the end saying Rey Skywalker was just, man, it brought a tear to my eye there. And while some of the more classic characters didn't get a whole lot of time, like R2 or Chewie or Leia, even though she does have some impactful moments, it still ended up being super fun. At number 4 is A New Hope, or Star Wars as some people call it. Um, I still find enjoyment out of this film. It is just a great good versus evil story of, Luke finding himself in this world where he didn't think he was all that important, but little did he know he was one of the most important people in the world when it came to defeating, the Empire and destroying the Death Star. In one of the best final acts I've ever seen out of one of these films, let alone any film. And it was just fantastic, and just the overall nostalgic feel every time I watch it, it's just unforgettable. From Princess Leia's first appearance, Han and Chewie, C-3PO, Ben Kenobi versus Darth Vader, it never gets old. At number 3 is The Force Awakens. Now, I went into this film not knowing a thing about Star Wars. I am dead serious, guys. I saw the first episode. I saw episode 1 like years and years before I saw this one in 2015. Not years, I mean that's over exaggeration. I saw the first episode in 2012, and I'm being honest, I fell asleep during the pod racing, and I got woke up and I caught the final act, but I didn't really get much out of it. But Qui-Gon Jinn's death. But yeah, I went into this film knowing nothing, and I still enjoyed it. This was pretty much my introduction to Star Wars, and it was perfect. Han Solo and Chewie instantly became favorites of mine. Princess Leia was great too. I always love Kylo Ren, Rey, Finn, Captain Phasma's great too. BB-8 and Poe Dameron, just a really great collection of characters. Now I know it's gonna piss a lot of people off. I love The Last Jedi. It is one of my favorite films ever. Wow. Oh, man. Yeah, The Last Jedi. It's one of the most beautiful, most breathtaking Star Wars films ever. The Luke Skywalker development, from him going at the beginning of the film, throwing the lightsaber over the cliff, to sacrificing himself so the rebels can buy time, and he can buy time for Rey to get the rocks out of the rebel base so they can get out at the end, is great. And he even sort of quotes Obi-Wan slightly. He's like, strike me down, and I will become more powerful than you'll ever know. That was just amazing. Kylo and Rey's journey throughout this film was fantastic. Poe's development as he's trying to help the rebels. It was just a fun film. Don't at me. But at number 1 is The Empire Strikes Back. I still find this film one of the best, most action-packed films ever created. Where do I even start? You got Boba Fett, you got Han Solo and Luke out in the cold, and Luke having to cut open the tauntaun to survive, and it is fantastic. The Wampa, I believe, if I'm getting that right. I haven't seen it in like a year or so. But yeah, the Wampa that he has to go up against in the first couple minutes, just a really great sequel. And it's one of the best sequels. Because of course this was a sequel to A New Hope. And who can forget, I am your father. No! Yeah, that's iconic, guys. It's hard not to reference this movie at this point. It's a classic, and it will remain as my favorite Star Wars film inside of the Skywalker saga. But if we ever get any more Star Wars films, I believe we will, they're moneymakers, I will come back here and rank them and see if they, pass this one. But that is kind of impossible. But let me know what your ranking is down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Goodbye.